Boom! With the judge's chamber. All right, so we got Eric Burns. He's got it rocking here. Real quick, can I just do this?
Sure.
All right, so he's got, that's cool. I'm not. You are.
Oh, well, thanks, Al.
No, I'm totally not cool. I wear the same shoes every time I'm in here.
You're handsome, though.
Listen, home runs, launch angle.
Yeah.
We hear it. Daniel Murphy.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, it is interesting because I've been thinking about it a lot. And I went to Colorado last week, and I had a very long conversation with the hitting coach, Dwayne Espy, and assistant hitting coach, Jeff Salazar, who's an old teammate of mine. And it's funny because the way hitting is taught today to how it was taught even 10 years ago is completely different. And I think there's just a better understanding and a better way to explain it. So let's just go ahead and dive into the tape, and I'll try to show you what I'm talking about. And basically it's this, is when you have, say, a guy like Corey Kluber on the mound, and you have a guy, Charlie Blackmon, everything's about angles. So here we have, and this is why I was down in Colorado doing a play ball episode with Blackmon, but here he is, and you look at the angle, he's catching this on the upswing. So you always think, okay, do I tell someone to swing down on a ball? Do I tell someone to swing up on a ball? Do I tell someone to swing level? Well, guess what? This goes back to Ted Williams. This goes back to the science of hitting. This goes back to him saying the correct path to the baseball is up. Yet for so many years, we're like, no, the correct path to the baseball is down. We swing down on the ball. Look at Barry Bonds. He's swinging down on the ball. Barry Bonds is not swinging down on the ball. Either is Giancarlo Stanton. He's not swinging down on the ball. Now we have numbers to go ahead and back up our theories. Launch angle, 26 degrees. These are on all the 2017 homers. But let's go to Daniel Murphy, a guy who's openly talked about launch angle and how it's changed his career. 2015, 281 with a 12-degree average launch angle. 2016, 347, 17-degree launch angle. And now in 2017, 18-degree launch angle, hitting 325. You think this is by mistake? There was no chance this is by mistake. There's another guy, Anthony Rendon, who's completely bought into the theory. Look at these slugging percentages. 10-degree launch angle, 17 then 18. 363, 450, 543. You can see the way he swings up to the baseball. As the ball is coming in at, say, a 12-degree angle, if you want to match that and completely square it up, look at this. This is why they don't want to do it. This is why they all want launch angle. There's more hits out there. There's more space out there. It's unbelievable. Just to think, even if you have the bloops, that's what I think gets lost in all this, as the bloops. Now, here's the average launch angle according to our research department, which I have all the respect in the world for, and they get their info from Baseball Savant. If you look on the MLB.com site, it's even higher than that. It's now up to 12 in 2017. That was from the app this morning. So the bottom line is this. It's going this direction. Why is it going this direction? Because guys are buying into the theory that, hey, look, there's more hits in the outfield. So then the question becomes, how do you counteract that? For outfielders, I think is something with elite power hitters that you're eventually going to see. And then I think the other thing is, and we were talking about this, and I want you to say further explain it, but say we'll take a guy like Chipper Jones. And for years, say I was the same way in the sense that we all talked about swinging down to the baseball. And I would have explained it as like, let me scoot over here just so it's more natural. But basically, my theory was, okay, I'm going to swing down to the ball, right? Mm-hmm. And then swing through the ball and whatever my finish was. Now, my finish was super high. But in reality, when I was doing it right, I was swinging down to the baseball, right? And then, boom, I was coming up without even knowing I was coming up, believing that I was just chopping down and hitting backspin. So when I went into a tailspin and, say, I would start popping balls up, what would I try to do? I'd try to swing down even more. What would that do? Create more pop-ups or just complete rollovers. So go ahead.
All right, let me just give you my quick, simple opinion. I think the reason why we've heard the semantics of a swing down on the baseball, because when you're a little guy and you have a bat in your hand that's a little slightly heavier than what you can handle, the first thing little kids, and I'm talking little, we just had the Little League World Series stuff, right, in Williamsport. Kids go like this. The bat usually leads the way. At some point, some dad, right, most of the time, they don't want you to hit a pop-up because the other rule of thumb was, and I hear you and I saw what you showed on the outfield, is that when you hit a grounder, a little kid's got to field it, he's got to crow hop, he's got to throw it, and there's got to be a kid at first base to catch it. So I'm telling you, at 8, 9, 10, 12 years old, they're saying, hit the ball on the ground, it's easier to maybe get a hit. Not at the big league level. I'm with you on that. But the general simplicity of that is to swing down on it. And the reason why they say swing down on it, because the first thing kid wants to do is this. Because this is usually heavier. And maybe I'm even going to 8 years old. Let's go to real little. I don't know what your boys do or your son does, but boom. So there's your down on the baseball. I sat on that couch, I don't know, a few weeks ago or a month ago, whenever Chipper Jones was in. You mentioned Chipper. And D-Row was standing next to him. And Chipper was going on about how he swings down on the baseball. So why and who in baseball, and you mentioned Daniel Murphy, as to believing the launch angle stuff, like who are, you mentioned the two hitting coaches. Like
Dwayne Espy, Jeff South. But
is this a buy-in? That's my point, Bernsey. When somebody's now saying, no, all that whole swinging down, yeah, you swing down to get to here, but you got to swing up. Like, where did that come?
So the way that Sally and I talked extensively about this over a couple of adult beverages after the Rockies game that night, and the way he explained it to me, he's like, look.
You guys keep rolling. I have some questions I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
Keep going.
So he basically said, look, if the ball's coming in at a 12 to 15 degree angle, whatever it is.
Go ahead, let's show that to the people here.
There you go.
In the way?
Do it like that,
So the
right?
pitcher, 6 feet, 10-inch mound, he throws it generally over his head.
Perfect.
So the angle's coming this way.
So bring it in like that.
Okay, so
now
it's
you're
about
coming
like
in
this.
12 to 15. For me to maximize, ready? For me to maximize contact on this, that right there is exit velocity.
So here, we're going from here, tick, 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 tick.
The same angle it's coming down is the same angle it needs to go out. So if it's coming down at 12 degrees, in order to maximize exit velocity, I need to be coming up at 12 degrees. In order to, say, find that perfect home run swing, well, you would come at a steeper angle or get below the bat or lower on the ball, which would create the backspin in the
Can I
carry.
say this real quick, friend? I know you're coming in. They're going to be screaming at you. Ted Williams talked about this in his book. About landing.
It's the same thing, dude.
Airplanes on aircraft carriers.
Yes.
About angles.
Yes.
That was 1940 something.
I understand that, but you have to understand, and I tried to explain this yesterday on MLB Tonight, and to understand, this is all work in progress here, right? And we've heard a lot of good hitters talk. We've heard Josh Donaldson talk about it extensively. Mark Trumbo, who I talked to last year on the rundown, never forget it, 2 to 4 you could catch. Of course, Kelly Nash and Paul Semerino or whoever else is be hosting it today, Scotty Braun. But basically, he was saying that there is now a facility in California where they look for ways to maximize and work on launch angle so they can understand their swing. But basically, this goes back to what Johnson was talking about. Everything, getting on plane and then being able to carry it through and then come up and meet that ball at the same angle in which it's coming in.
Well, what you guys have the tee back here. So what's the difference? Is it semantics? You're talking about swinging up. How much of that is just basically you're trying to catch the ball out here, so you end up catching the ball on an up plane, as opposed to if you always hear let the ball travel, let the ball travel. Well, if you're trying to swing up at a ball that's here,
ready?
Is that something that is doable? Because if I'm a pitcher, then I'd be looking right. But
look, that's opposite field home run. Like that, the way these guys do it, J.D. Martinez is, I'd say, one of the best at doing it. Miguel Cabrera even. They might even doing it. They might do it without knowing it. And Miguel Cabrera's been around so long.
And I have one other question for you.
These guys don't even. Some of them couldn't even explain it to you, Fran.
Here, how about this one now? So if this is the case that I was pitching now, unlike 10 years ago and before, why not? How do you get on top of? Here, so let me see. Stand up.
Okay.
All right, so this one, which should be
Even
a strike, because we just saw a guy go to right field on a pitch higher than that. So where'd you hit
Ready
that?
for this?
Yeah.
So Charlie Blackmon was saying, he said he was talking, he's fascinated by Joey Votto, as we all are. And he said he was talking about the All-Star game. And at the All-Star game, basically, Joey Votto was telling Charlie Blackmon, he's like, as Blackman's asking, like, what do you look for? He said, I look for the ball up. He goes, well, what about the guy that throws 95 and is leaving it at your neck? He goes, I lay off that one. He goes, so then Blackmon goes, well, yeah, but isn't it hard to differentiate? He goes, I look for the ball up. Well, all these guys are looking for balls up because that's the easiest ball to be able to go ahead and hit in the air. So from this stance here, it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. These are the ones that actually these guys are looking for.
Real quick, you talked about little leaguers and you talked about dads teaching their kids to swing down to hit the ball on the ground. But if you teach a kid I think one of the more things that they're concerned about is the kid's head being way out here. If a kid is swinging his bat up, then that's a big problem when you're talking about young kids, is to make sure that they keep their heads down on the ball.
Well,
so that's why I think more often you hear about
You know what I heard?
dads.
I'll keep it real simple, Bernsey, because I know you're sophisticated. As a left-handed hitter, I go from my right chin or my right shoulder to my left shoulder.
Yeah, but that's the part. That's the basics to hitting. You got to be able to see the ball. So if we can talk all we want, if you're not seeing the ball, you can't do it. The one thing I tell my kid, and he looks like freaking a mini Josh Johnson, right? Like just taking hacks. He swings and misses a ton, but guess what? When he hits it, he hits it. And I have not, and this is all natural, and I have not been able, and I'm not going to say anything to him. The one thing I ever tell him, just keep your eye on the ball. So when he swings and misses it a couple times, keep your eye on the ball. The other thing, just fascinating story. Pressure's in my ear. He's yelling. He wants to go to break.
I
get this. You have to
understand.
understand. Another thing that Charlie Blackmon told me. Basically, he said he was in the cage taking hacks, right? And he said he popped a couple up, like straight up in the top of the cage. Joey Votto was behind him going, yeah, that's you, man. Right there. Stay right there. And Blackman's like, dude, what's he talking about? What do you mean stay right there? Well, get this. If you talk about angles in which the ball's coming in during a game as opposed to where the ball's coming in flips, they actually believe, according to Charlie, that the top of the cage in which the angle, because that's a swing plane that you need to be able to match a swing plane that you're going to see during the game. So if you're doing that in flips, instead of working the back of the cage, back of the cage, back of the cage, hitting the low line drives, you're hitting the ball up there. That's what Votto believes is actually
Pressure, go to a break.
And it's all
the
my fault. I crashed
maximum angle.
their party.